Check Complete, a referee podcast, is an educational resource for referees by referees, designed to connect and develop soccer officials of all ages and skill levels to better serve the game both on and off the field. Welcome back to the Check Complete podcast. We've kind of revamped things around here. If you haven't been around for a while, that's okay. We've missed you. Hope you're doing okay, but welcome back. We kind of revamped some things, and we're going short little nuggets of wisdom. Is that what we're calling it, guys? I think we're going to go with nuggets of wisdom. I don't know if there's wisdom in any of this, so let me rephrase that. We'll just go with nuggets. How about that? So these are shorter episodes where there are things that are a little bit more bite-sized, right? Bite-sized things, little nuggets of things are great. I love little bite-sized nuggets of things, right? Like hors d'oeuvres. You get the fancy person with a platter walking around, wolfing down a few of those things. The only time I don't like that was when I was younger and trick-or-treating. I don't like when you skimp out and you just do the travel size little jobbers. I want the full-size candy bars. So think of this as a smaller, full-sized candy bar. That's what these episodes are. Hopefully they're nourishing you. We're talking about, today, we're kind of introducing a new segment of things that bring me happiness, but also things that irk me. And this is not about me. This is in hopes that maybe something is you're able to identify with something that falls into one of these categories for me. So I guess we'll start with the happy before we get to the irked, and then before we get to kind of our main concept for this episode. But I'm going to say I'm happy to see at least a trend in the right direction for relationships between coaches and referees in my neck of the woods. It feels like, yes, we have our moments, we have our run-ins, where we're coming at the game from two somewhat different perspectives, but I do think that there is an understanding, at least outside of the white lines and outside of the time in between the two whistles being blown to start and end matches, that there's an understanding that, like, what we're up against, and that we are truly in this together, and that we need to understand that we each play a very valuable role, especially at the youth level, to provide a safe, fair, developmental form of soccer, and understanding the bigger picture. And I think we're moving in the right direction with that. There's always moments that, as I hear some horror stories and things, you start to kind of go, oh, that maybe was a few steps back, but such is progress in life, right? It's not, unfortunately, isn't always going to be moving in the same direction at full speed. There may be some steps backwards, but ultimately, if we're trending in that way, and the majority of people are understanding the value of a collaborative, not a combative approach when we step onto the field for the sake of the players and their families, that the game's safe, fair, and fun and developmental, and that we all play a part in this kind of like multiple legs of the stool, right? That it only functions if we are holding up our end of the bargain, I guess. And so I'm excited to see that. I'm excited to see that at least it feels like things are moving in the right direction. And I hope that wherever you are, all four of you that are watching this and listening to this, that whoever you are, that you are able to see your role and lean into that, but also see the role of those that are the other perspectives, and find some empathy and respect for those postures and those positions. That's making me happy. What's irking me is generally trying to lose weight, and the fact that by the time we're done reffing, and tell me if I'm wrong, it's like 9:30 at night on some of these. Last night, I had a game that had a 45-minute weather delay, and then we went both overtimes. And by the time I got home, it's like 10:30, and I'm ravenous, right? And I know some people are furiously nodding with me right now that are referees. It's even worse in some of these. That was high school, okay? Some of these college games, you end up driving out to the middle of absolute nowhere, and that is offensive to nowhere, to talk about how in the middle of nowhere we are. And the only thing that's open is a Casey's that doubles as a meth lab. And I don't want to eat sausage pizza from Casey's. Let me rephrase that. I do want to eat sausage pizza from Casey's, even if it was cooked in a factory that also produced meth. But I don't. It's been on that little circular cage that hasn't been cleaned in years, and I don't want to eat that at 10 o'clock at night. Okay? Because I'm super fat and trying to be less fat, and that's not fueling me well for the next round. So it's just irritating that you go, and I get it. I mean, I ran off you burned off 1,200 calories or something, or I mean, I stand in the center circle, so it's probably like 400 calories. But like you're burning this off, but still eating that much food that late. But then it's like, so you want to be disciplined, but how do you be disciplined when especially some of these like are double headers, and you can't eat in between because you're going to vomit all over the home turf. So there's got to be a better way to do this. And the last thing I want to do is make like fish and vegetables or something and eat that. No, I want to eat a $5 Cravings box. I want to eat 3 of them. That's what I want. So, okay, we have here this note. Oh, yes. I need to backtrack. This episode is, in fact, sponsored by Casey's, is what the note I'm getting. So, stop by Casey's, and it's definitely not where they cook meth. Okay. Sorry about that, Casey's. Today's main topic is about giving back to the game. We had a note come in from up north, basically Antarctica, South Dakota, from Tyler Sawyer. Tyler is the man. He's also an enabler because he sends me random text messages about eating double cheeseburgers, or what was it? Double cheeseburgers, right?
I believe that's what it was.
Yeah, double cheeseburgers.
Just before the game.
Yeah, wolfing things down. So he reached out about that, and at President's Cup Regionals this summer, it was not a great moment for any of us, and he continues to taunt me with that. But Tyler had a great point that we're in a community, we're in an ecosystem. Broadly speaking, U.S. soccer, the soccer world, even beyond that. But more narrowly focused, the referee community is a place that, quite honestly, relies on experienced officials, or officials that are getting more and more experience, that are becoming more and more veteran, taking time out of an albeit busy schedule to give back, to invest in who is next. There's several reasons why this is the case. One, we're really not in a place as the referee community to have the same kinds of, at least from my vantage point, correct me if I'm wrong, over DMs, follow us at check_complete, Check Complete Podcast on Facebook, info at checkcompletepodcast.com on the email. But reach out to me. But it feels, again, correct me if I'm wrong, but it feels as if we are, we're not quite as resourced as the other aspects of the game. I look in our state, and those that are full-time in refereeing are dwarfed. The numbers of people that are full-time in refereeing are dwarfed. I think there's only 2 or 3 of us compared to the amount of clubs that have full-time directors and staff and coaches, other people in soccer that are full-time on that aspect of the game. So I guess I'm lamenting that a little bit, but I'm also saying that's our reality. So we're somewhat dependent upon referees being willing to say, hey, I have gained some experience, and it's now time for me to give back. I think that's incredibly crucial. I also think it's important for us on the more administrative side to understand that there isn't some place where referees have to hit to then make them qualified to then give back. Even the referee that's done a season has something to offer to the brand new referee. And so I think, and I have dealt with this to kind of have a personal aside. When I found myself into these leadership roles in my state, mostly because I don't know how to say no, but when I found myself in these types of roles, I still, 3 years into this, and even longer with some of the other roles, I feel very much underqualified. This is, and I am not the person. I look at my resume and I think I am not the person to be in these types of roles. We need to, I think, collectively across the board, anyone that's had any opportunity to referee games for almost any length of time, but especially those that have had opportunities to travel for events, that have worked at various levels, that have had a chance to move up, that have years under their belt, we need to resist the urge to say, I'm unworthy and I'm unqualified, and just go, you know what? I have something to offer in some capacity. And I'm going to go out and I'm going to do it. But we also need to set realistic standards for ourselves in giving back, too, to be able to say, hey, I'm probably not going to become a regional referee coach or a national referee coach when I've never had an opportunity to referee at those levels. I understand that there's some room in the current model to provide those opportunities for people. But if we've never touched those levels, then we may not be in a place to give back in that capacity, but that's okay. Because 90% of our referees across the country are people that are not regional, national FIFA referees. They are your weekend warriors that are coming out to referee in their first jobs to make some additional money, because they enjoy the game, because they're adults that want to ref with their kids, or they're seeing the problem and they want to be part of the solution. And so what we desperately need across the board are people that are willing to say, you know what, I'm just going to do it. I'm going to carve out some space. Yes, I could go pick up another college game. I could go do another high school doubleheader. I could go and work some platform games and make cash doing ECNL or E64 or Midwest Conference or whatever. But I'm going to resist that, and I'm going to carve out half a Saturday or half a Sunday or Friday night and just say, you know what, I'm going to set that time aside twice a season to go out and give back. Thankfully, most places across our country are providing financial compensation for those in that role. But I would really challenge you, if you're in any of those, if you have anything as far as under your belt that experience-wise, find a place to give back. Reach out to your local state leadership. Reach out to high school leadership. Reach out to college. There are ways that we can get you plugged in, and there's ways that we can get you involved to pass along that knowledge. If nothing else, to just make someone feel like they are welcome in this community, and we're glad that they're here. All right, we're putting a bow on this episode of the Check Complete podcast. Thank you so much for engaging with our content. A couple tangible things as far as giving back that I would challenge you, and there's a lot of different ideas, so don't allow this to pigeonhole you. But I would say there's a few different things. One is, as I mentioned a little bit, mentoring. There's usually an opportunity. I know in our state we have peer mentors that are not licensed or certified through U.S. Soccer, but these are people that we run through some very basic training to then go out and essentially just be somebody that says, especially at our small-sided games, thanks for being here. We hope to see you next week. Something as simple as that. So not something to overthink. But just go out and be a support system. Maybe even be a human shield between some of the stuff that they're hearing from the sidelines and them, and being the person that, you're at a place where, hey, I can step in and let the parent say a few things to me instead of having it thrown at the brand new referee. So there's that. And on the mentoring side, there's also the extra layer of then, if reaching out to your state, seeing what they're doing, but actually mentoring via the U.S. soccer certification, which has requirements related to teaching in courses, leading field training sessions, giving feedback through like assessments, evaluations, whatever the term you want to call it. So, but that's a more formal role, and it's not for everyone, and it's not something you have to go out and provide feedback. But I would encourage, connecting with your state and local assigners and leadership before you just step out in the field and start giving people feedback. There are ways, even without being so this would be the second one, there are ways, even without being a certified mentor, to assist with field training exercises, classroom type things, or even just shadowing an assessor. Could be even shadowing someone at the regional level for a maintenance or for an upgrade assessment. Just, again, connect with those people in leadership and let them know your intentions and see how they can work you in. The last thing I would say is take an inventory of your own sets of skills or what you do for your day job and see if there's ways that could be incorporated into the referee world. There's many, many, many ways that our people are gifted that can be an opportunity to give back, to serve other referees. I think, I know for me, I was working on putting together something for an upcoming event that we're doing, and there's a couple referees that I know that are really good with some aspects of some Google Forms and some different add-ons and extensions and different things like that. So I reached out to them. I said, hey, would you mind taking a quick peek at this and let me know if there's different technology pieces or different layers of things that I'm just not aware of. Because they expressed what they did professionally, I then can lean on them for something that's probably going to only take 5 or 10 minutes of their time. But it's such a valuable asset to our community. Just those are, I guess, would be the 3 simple ways that you could get involved in some capacity, but don't let that be limiting to you in your context and with your skill sets. Thanks for watching. A lot more that could be discussed about this. If you have other ideas or things that come to mind or questions, concerns, whatever, please reach out to us. You can slide into the DMs at check_complete. You can follow us on Facebook, Check Complete Podcast. Make sure that you are liking our content, if you wouldn't mind. It sounds really needy, but I'm not desperate. At least, no, just like it, please. And then follow, subscribe, do all that stuff. That's really awesome for us. And then tell your friends. I mean, tell everyone. Next time you're at a family reunion, just flip this on. It'll go over like gangbusters. Everyone's going to love it. So check it out and pass it along, okay? Once again, I'm sorry to Casey's for that. It's just, if you're on the legal team for Casey's, just be nice, okay? We weren't serious about that. You make great pizza. I love your establishment. Okay. Thanks for watching the Check Complete Podcast.